Hey everyone, and welcome back to the 30 Days Growth Marketing course. Today is day 9, and Swati, today we are going to discuss A/B testing. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to show.
Awesome. So, A/B testing, simply put, is a way for us to find and gather data to basically find winners, right? And when I say winners in marketing, it typically refers to any variant that converts the audience better, right? So with marketing, we have copy, we have landing pages, we have emailers, we have email subject lines. Like there are so many touch points that the user is going through when they're interacting with our marketing content. So whether it's content, copy, pages, subject
Mhm.
lines, these are all touch points with users, right? And just like you think, you might have actually used this framework in real life. You think, I try this, maybe this works, but this does not work that well, so let me try another thing and see if it works, right? So for example, if you're cooking, right, so you cook something, but you change a small variable the next time and see if it works better, right? So maybe you change the temperature, maybe you change the time that you cook it for. You change a variable and see if that works, then you change another variable, see if that works, and slowly your learnings will build on top of each other to get you better results, right?
Okay.
So we do exactly the same thing in marketing. So it's more like, imagine this as an example. We have 100 people coming to a website. Now this website has a certain element that we change for half the people. So we show half the people version A and half the people version B, right? Now let's say
Mhm.
from people who saw version A, from those 50 people, 20% of those people convert, right? And then from people who saw the version B, 40% of those people convert. So you can then say that that particular change has increased my conversion rate, has doubled my
Mhm.
conversion rate. And then you
Right.
keep taking those small changes and test them with the audience. So that's why it's called A/B testing, because it refers to variant A and variant B.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. Give me an example of any industry, and I'll show you an example of A/B testing.
So, I was wondering how would that be when we're talking about some app, for example?
Right. So it could be, let's say, an app install page itself, right? So let's say mobile app for tracking finance. Let's take this example, right?
Okay.
And let's say what kind of apps, let's see what kind of apps are there for tracking finances. So let's see the 8 best budget apps for 2023, just as an example.
Mhm.
So we have Mint for just about everything. This is their um, recommendation. So we go to Mint app, and then we open this app page, right? So now this is a landing page for people to download the app slash sign up for the app. It's the number one most downloaded personal finance app. So let's start with the landing page itself, right? I'm quite sure they've A/B tested a lot before they've arrived on this landing page. But here's what we could do. So we see this landing page, and all we could experiment with is the headline. So it says
Okay.
managing money made simple, right? Let's assume that this is working for them, but there could be another variant that could work better. So we keep the entire landing page same. We make a copy of this landing page. And instead of managing money made simple, let's say we try something like get the number one most downloaded personal finance app, or um, manage money with Mint, or manage your personal finance with Mint.
Got
I'm
it.
not saying those are the best options, but essentially it's all about the data. We'll have to test it and figure it out if it's a good option or not. So we'll have some copy change here, and then we can keep everything else the same. So with A/B testing, you keep everything else the same. You don't change the other things on the page, right? And
Okay.
if you
Okay. Okay.
take this page and make another copy of this page where you only change this particular headline,
Mhm.
you drive enough traffic to both versions of the page and split the traffic 50%, 50%. And there are tools that let you do that. But if you split the traffic half and half, and let's say this page converts at a 20% conversion rate and the other copy converts at a 40% conversion rate, then it's quite clear that the copy is the reason because of which the other page has converted better, because you've only changed one thing on the page.
Okay. And how is it decided, like on the back end, which 50% people will see version A?
So it's a randomized sample. So essentially, it's all about having half the traffic going to one page and half the traffic going to another page. So there are specialized apps, and Google Optimize is one of the popular ones, wherein you can actually do free A/B testing.
Mm-hmm.
However, while we can, still use this, I don't recommend using Google Optimize because, they're going to stop their services after 2023. So until now, marketeers were using Google Optimize. I have moved all my experiments away from Google Optimize, considering that they are closing. It's still active. So if someone wants to test it out for free, they can. But there are other alternatives. VWO is another one, which is a good one. But there are these apps which let you run these pages. Alternatively, there is a hack to do this as well. I could just make a copy of this page on my website and call it /landing, and then run ads on, let's say I'm running ads on Facebook, and then run 2 ad campaigns, give them the same budget, but take one campaign to my main landing page and the other campaign to the /landing page. In that way, you'll be able to also gather data. It's not going to be as smooth as using an A/B testing tool, but it's still going to be like a free alternative or a free hack to do A/B testing. Another way that you could do this, Swati, is you could run this page for 30 days and then change this text and then run it for another 30 days.
Right.
You can compare the conversion rate of the first 30 days and the next 30 days. Sorry, I don't know why I went to chatgpt.com, but let's open ChatGPT and ask for some alternate copy lines, since that's something that we can just pick this one. Alternate headlines for my landing page. My current headline is this one, right? So now we have some options to start testing with. And basically, this is a very simple way of split testing where you're testing your headline. Another thing that you could do is, let's take another example. Tell me some other industry, or like a specific industry, like fitness, health, wellness, beauty, fashion.
Yeah, we could do beauty.
Let's do beauty. So let's search for, see, even if you look at this one, this is sort of like a directory for beauty brands, it seems. And then it's giving me some of these. Let's open this. So this is more e-commerce, but what I could do here is I could run many split tests on this product page. But on this product page, one thing that we could try is, you see the add to bag button. Now, that's the most important button on this page because it takes the user to the next step towards the transaction, towards the purchase. So that's essentially like the most important button. Now, there's this brand color that they're using everywhere, right? So this particular color they're using all over the place. What if we try to make this background color green, for instance? And it just so happens that green is the best converting background color for call to action buttons. But despite that, we could test this background color, the current one, which is their brand color, versus the green, and see which one has a better click-through rate or conversion rate of people converting from the product page to the cart page, because this will take them to the cart page, right? The other thing, see, it is added to cart. The other thing that we could test is testing this out, not the best UI, but testing out save bag. Testing out add to bag versus add to cart. Basically, just to text and see which one works better. These are very simple examples, but they would add up to very exponential results, essentially, because you do one experiment, you do another. Now you learned Let's say you know that green works better. Now, on the green one, you can test both add to bag and add to cart. Now you learn that green plus add to cart works better. And every time you're getting a 10%, 5%, 6% improvement. With 10 of these A/B tests, you might get 100% improvement, right?
Sure.
And that's how optimization works. But this is not limited to just this example. It could also be subject lines in email campaigns. It could also be social media captions, right? So those can be ad copy on Facebook ads, for example, is a very good example that can be split tested. So all those things can be split tested. And in terms of the concept itself, what we are talking about is we are still trying to solve the user's pain points, but in different ways. And then we are gathering this data so that we are able to make this decision. And in the process, we are definitely going to be improving our conversion rates. And in the next lesson, we'll deep dive into what conversion rates are and what CROs is and so forth. And obviously, this is a lean and agile process because, like you said, like you saw, very small and minor changes can actually lead to big results, right?
Okay.
So look at this was price and now price. I like this because it's a good CRO hack.
Yes.
But if I was to test this page without this was price and only showing the now price, I could have very different results in the conversion, because this is something that has been added to make sure that people are going through this journey of reading this and then being convinced enough to click on the add to bag button, right? So by making these small improvements, we can get exponential results. So the theory behind this is that the original version, which is the one that we have right now, so this is the page that we have right now, is called the control. That's the term that we use. And then the new one, let's say the green call to action button version, will be called the variation, right? Or / variant. And then we check control or variant, which one is better, by testing the uplift. If there is an uplift, which means if the particular metric has improved, then the variant becomes the winner. If the uplift is negative, or basically there is no uplift, then the control stays as the winner, right? So let's say, for example, my metric in this case is the number of clicks, the percentage of people clicking on add to bag. Right? In this case, it could be the case of the Mint landing page. It could be people signing up on the landing page or people creating an account on Mint app. So those will be the metrics. And if that metric shows an uplift, I would say that the variant is a winner. And then I could make it live. I could make that my live landing page, and then continue and then test something else. So you see this 12% and the next 12% and the next 12%. In 6 or 7 experiments, you'll see you've doubled your results, right?
Right. And if that particular version does not work, we try something else till the conversion.
Right. So we're always experimenting. We would run a new experiment and we could add it to our database of failed experiments just so that we know that this did not work. Keep that in our records and we can do some new experiments. So in terms of channels, it could be ads, it could be landing pages, it could be welcome emails. There are other channels in which you can indirectly execute split testing. A bit more complicated. If the tool itself gives you an option, that's great. For example, Facebook ads, Google ads, all these tools have inbuilt options for A/B testing. With landing pages, you need to get a platform. If you're using a landing page builder, there are many like Instapage, Unbounce, and so forth. They would have their own A/B testing options. With email marketing, irrespective of whether you're using ActiveCampaign or Klaviyo or ConvertKit or Drip or GetResponse, there's so many email marketing tools out there. Almost all of them will give you options for A/B testing. So those options will be inbuilt in the tool itself, where you'll be able to A/B test subject lines or A/B test the content in the email itself, right? So those options are all out there. In terms of the process for A/B testing, it's exactly the same as the growth marketing process. We do research. So we need to see what should we split test in the first place, right? So for example, one of the ways that I get ideas for split testing is to look at heat maps. And heat maps tell you which parts of the website the user has clicked on or seen more of before they made the decision to add to bag. Right? So here's an example. If you look at a heat map or a user recording, maybe they're looking at the reviews before they are adding to bag, right?
Mm.
So maybe reviews is a good section to split test. You could either test having photo reviews or video reviews versus text reviews. Like you can do experiments within the reviews section, right? Maybe people are clicking, this is an anti-example. Maybe people are clicking on you may also like and going to a different product page and then dropping off the website, right? So think about this. People are leaving the website because of your you may also like page section.
Okay.
So you may want to split test the product page with and without the you may also like section. So you cannot assume that everything you have on the page is going to work for the user's favor, in the user's favor, right? So maybe this is distracting them. Maybe it's not really helping. Or maybe it is. Maybe people are finding another product to add to bag, right? So that depends on data, but we cannot generalize that, having a you may also like section will always work. In fact, I have seen cases where you may also like reduces the conversion rates, right?
Okay.
And then there are cases where it improves the average order value, but not the conversion rate. So it depends on the business. And then we experiment and then we measure results, right? So same process that we have for growth marketing. But that's the overview of A/B testing and how it, would add to compounded results in the long run.
So, Rishabh, how often is it recommended to do this split testing, or is it a constant process? Are we like testing something or the other constantly?
Right. So the same split test I wouldn't recommend to do for a very long time, because if you're always testing it, you're not being able to leverage the data for your growth, right? So let me give you an example. If I send out an email with a split test of 2 different subject lines, and I run the split test for 6 months, it's just too long for me to actually leverage the results. So imagine the other option that I could do. What I could do is I could run that test for 2 months and then see which one is a winner and then use the winner for the next 4 months. So overall, I'll end up with much better results at the end of 6 months. Now, if you want to go one step ahead of that, you can do 2 months. You can find a winner, use it, and test it against another option for the next 2 months. Then find a winner amongst that. So it's like a league, there are these subject lines all competing with each other. And eventually you're trying to find the best open rates, because subject lines only will change your open rates, not your other metrics. So that's how I would do it. If I had to give a specific answer, I do 30-day split testing. So I would test something for 30 days and then see how it goes and then test the next thing. It also depends on how much volume you're getting, right? So let's say your email list has 100 people and you're acquiring 100 people every day, right? Let's say. So you might have to run it for 10 days just to show your content to 1,000 people, 500 each. But on the other hand, if you were acquiring only 10 people a day, right, at the end of 10 days, you would have shown your content to 50 people. That's not really enough data to decide who is a winner, right? Which subject line is a winner. So to solve that problem, we have something called statistical significance calculation, wherein you could put in your numbers and see if the results of your A/B test are actually statistically significant enough or not. Right?
Sure. Okay.
So that's the process, which uses a mathematical equation called the chi-square, which allows you to see if you should be confident about your A/B testing results or not, right? So if you ask, it's a very simple thing, like saying, let's say you build a new product, you ask 10 people if they will use it or not, and all 10 of them say yes. It does not mean that the next 90 will say yes, right? Because it's too small a group, and maybe it's just your family and friends. Who knows? There is some biases. But if you ask 100 people and still 80 or 70 people say yes, then you can be slightly more confident. If you ask 1,000 people and maybe 600 people say yes, see, the numbers are going down, but you can still be quite confident. So your confidence will increase based on how much data you can collect.
Right. So on an average, what's a good number of audience to do the testing on?
Yeah. So again, depends on the business, but I would say in case of, let's take specific examples. If I am this particular brand and I'm looking at these products being added to bag, I would look at least 1,000 people on each of my variants. So my first variant, let's say, so an average e-commerce conversion rate is what, 2 to 3%. So if I'm getting 100 people to this page, maybe 2 people are converting. That means 5 or 6 will be adding to cart, 6% add to cart rate, right? So if 1,000 people come on this page, 60 people add to cart, that's sort of a decent number for me to consider. So let's say 60 people add to bag here and 50 people add to bag on my variant. So that means the other one has a 5% add to bag rate, which is slightly lower. And then I could say, okay, this is the winner.
Right? All right.
But if 100 people come here, 5 or 6 people add to cart, and on the other one, 4 or 5 people add to cart, I would still not be confident enough to say that this is the winner. I would still get like 1,000 people on each.
Yeah.
In this particular case, seems like a low ticket size, high volume sort of website anyway. But if this was a furniture website, they were selling furniture, and a table was costing $1,000, and 4 people added to bag versus 3 people on the other page, I would just announce the winner, because this is a much higher ticket size product. It's a lower volume, high ticket size game. So that's an example to show how it really depends on the volume of the website. But yeah, good question. Anything else?
That was all.
Yeah, so hope you get a clear picture of like A/B testing. There are some things which come by experience as to what's the right number of people to get, but it really depends on the business, right? So same with the free, since you mentioned mobile app, same with a free app versus paid app. So this is a free app, this is a paid app, right? So if people are signing up on the paid app landing page, then you could need much lesser data than a free app landing page, because it's much easier to convert people for a free app landing page, right? So from, they say the conversion rate dips the most between $0 and $1. Something which is $0 will always have a very high conversion rate. So you will need much more data to actually show that your experiment is working.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that was what we had in store for A/B testing. And tomorrow in day 10, we're going to discuss conversion rate optimization, which is also very closely related to A/B testing. Great. Hope everyone enjoyed. We'll see you in day 10.